Spider-Man does whatever he wants, I suppose. He's part Spider. Spidey's been a global icon and one of the most recognizable comic book characters for more than 50 years, but even everybody's friendly neighborhood wall crawler has participated in some moments that are best left forgotten. With dozens of creators tackling Spidey over the years, all bringing their own unique take on the character and his supporting cast, we've seen some of the very best stories the medium's ever produced, as well as many ideas that are too difficult or ridiculous to execute over the long term. As such, I'm Ben from What Culture, and here are 10 things Marvel wants you to forget about Spider-Man. Number 10. Spider-Man can't graduate. Presumably co-starring Jonah Hill, Seth Rogen, and Michael Cera, old P.T. Parker is on the verge of graduating college when the dean informs him that he's one credit short. But which credit is one of the Marvel Universe's most intelligent individuals missing? Jim, of course. Get it? Because he's a nerd! The situation is supposed to be another demonstration of the infamous Parker luck. Typical. At least this time the Parker luck didn't lead to the death of a loved one like Uncle Ben or Gwen Stacy, and just meant more dodgeball.
There's a good energy in the gym!
Number 9. Spider-Man the Dick. For many comic book fans, Spider-Man is one of the most relatable superheroes going. A young and vibrant character who's quick-witted and intelligent, but also socially awkward and a little shy. And a bit spidery. But he's also had moments of being a total dick, especially when it involves his longtime adversary turned friend, Johnny Storm, aka the Human Torch. For example, Spider-Man crashes one of Johnny's parties and, without provocation, proceeds to antagonize Storm and his friends with webbing and insults. Webbing and insults. Just think about that combination of irritants. Webbing and insults. What a cunt. Number 8. Aunt May's almost husband. The defining moment in Spider-Man's career is, of course, the death of his Uncle Ben, who was proper done in during a murder, and that by recklessly headbutting an oncoming bullet. Spider-Man, who had an opportunity to stop the murderer earlier, declined out of selfishness, learning an important lesson in the process. The sequence is so iconic and important to the Spider-Man mythos, it has been dubbed his Uncle Ben moment. Except Spider-Man almost didn't have an Uncle Ben. In one seldom-mentioned issue, Aunt May was getting set to marry a rapscallion named Johnny Jerome. I mean, come on. A criminal who was once convicted of murder. And she also nearly married Doc Octopus, both of whom, I suppose, you could call stepdads for whackers. Hashtag stepdads for whackers. Feel free to use that line on your stepdads, rebellious youths. Number 7. Spider-Man the Cad. It's difficult to find a Spider-Man romance that ended well. Gwen Stacy, his first love, inadvertently had her neck snapped by Spidey's webbing, depending on who you talk to, and Mary Jane Watson had her marriage annulled to Peter Parker via a deal her husband made with the devil, Mephisto. Standard. It should be noted, however, that at numerous times in Spider-Man comic book history, Peter has acted unjustifiably cruelly to potential love interests. In grad school, he stood up the timid Deb Whitman, and at work, he practically broke up Betty Brant's marriage and then didn't pursue a relationship when it turned out she wasn't legally separated from her husband yet. What a hero. Number 6. Spider-Man the Objectivist. In addition to being a brilliant artist, Spider-Man co-creator Steve Ditko was also a known follower of philosopher Ayn Rand. Rand's philosophy of objectivism, which maintained that the individual's right of self-happiness trumped everything else, blah 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 blah, is one of the core tenets of modern-day libertarianism. Blah. Towards the end of Ditko's run on Amazing Spider-Man, little bits and pieces of objectivism found their way into the series. The most blatant instance of objectivism in a Spider-Man comic came in Ditko's very last issue of Amazing Spider-Man number 38. In it, Peter is walking by a group of student protesters and says to himself, "What are they after this time?" The implication being that student protesters in the 1960s didn't actually contribute anything to society, but they were more than happy to take. Cool. Number 5. He has turned into a spider many times. Marvel has long had this fascination with transforming Spider-Man into some semblance of an actual Spider-Man, and then promptly forgetting and abandoning the storyline.
Well, see you later.
The first time this happened was in Amazing Spider-Man number 100, a special event issue that was also Stan Lee's last script on the title. Peter ingests a serum designed to eliminate his spider powers and instead sprouts 4 new arms. Awesome! It happened again in 2004 when, during a battle with the mysterious Spider Queen, Peter is literally transformed into a spider. And then again, a year later, when he's killed by the vampire Morlun and is then resurrected with a brand new power set. You see, unlike his webbing, none of these stuck. Number 4. Live from New York, it's Spider-Man. The Marvel Team-Up series featured its fair share of wacky and outrageous pairings during its 150-issue run, but none were as silly and shameless as 1978's Marvel Team-Up number 74. Rather than team Spider-Man up with a random superhero or Marvel property, the comic aligned Spidey with the cast of Saturday Night Live, which at the time included the likes of John Belushi, Bill Murray.
I just saw Eddie Van Halen.
Nuh-uh.
Really? Yeah, he's a zombie.
And Dan Aykroyd, and the cast finds themselves in hot water when Belushi receives a ring that the evil Silver Samurai is chasing after. Typical. Truthfully, Marvel Team-Up number 74 is harmless fun, but it also stampedes all over the fourth wall and can't be bothered to be consistent about what is and isn't fiction within their own universe. Crazy bastards. Number 3. Spider-Man the Killer. Ugh, okay, here we go. Most comic book fans assume that Spider-Man is a beacon of morality who never compromises on his famous mantra, with great power must also come responsibility. And they would be right, mostly. But Spider-Man has killed, and in some cases, he has killed intentionally. And he will kill again. I don't know if he will. Maybe, probably. In an early issue of Marvel Team-Up, Spidey accidentally kills the villain Moondark when he knocks him through a portal that drops him from the top of the Golden Gate Bridge into the water below. He then jokes, "Even I can't hang around crying over spilt magicians. What the f*** is wrong with you?" And then in the Spider-Man vs. Wolverine original graphic novel, Spidey inadvertently kills Wolverine's friend Charlie by brutally punching her in the face. Apparently he thinks she's Wolverine sneaking up on him. Bad reason, friend. Bad reason. Number 2. The Spider-Mobile. In the wake of the tragic death of Peter Parker's girlfriend, Gwen Stacy, Marvel decided to lighten the mood of the Amazing Spider-Man by introducing a new distraction. The web-slinger is asked by 2 advertising executives to build and promote a car. Spidey initially refuses the offer as he's a superhero who uses web shooters and it's a car, but reconsiders when he realizes the promotion could help him make rent. Fine, I suppose. With the help of Johnny Storm, the man he torments sometimes, Spider-Man unveils the Spider-Mobile. The car is an instant flop, and after a few issues, the vehicle is dumped in the river. Number 1. Chapter 1. Many comic book fans consider Spider-Man's origin, as featured in Amazing Fantasy number 15, the most perfect story the medium has to offer. In the span of only 11 pages, Stan Lee and Steve Ditko managed to perfectly plot a tale that's thrilling, inspiring, and tragic. The story is considered untouchable, except for that one time Marvel actually touched it. In 1999, industry all-star John Byrne scripted and penciled a reimagining of Spidey's earliest days as part of a 12-part miniseries dubbed Spider-Man Chapter 1. And just in case anyone doubted how serious Marvel was about Chapter 1, the publisher promoted the miniseries as canon, claiming what Byrne put forward was the new origin story for Spider-Man. While the series sold fairly well, fans have grown to detest Chapter 1 and all it represented. Nothing Byrne presented changed Spider-Man's origin story that dramatically, just put his stamp on it and claimed it as his own. There was one minor change that linked the birth of Spider-Man and his longtime enemy Dr. Octopus via the same lab explosion, but that's pretty much it. Fortunately, Marvel would go on to drop Chapter 1 as canon. And that's our list. Are there any embarrassing Spidey moments we left off? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. You can even follow me here on Twitter if you're fancy. I'm Ben from What Culture, and thanks for watching.